Hello, today we're going to be going over how to complete Project 9 for the Nand2Tetris tutorial on how to basically create Jack files and compile them and convert them into virtual machine files. That's going to be our goal at the end of the day. So to start, what we want to do is open our files in any sort of text editor we have. The one that I used is Notepad because it's just the most simple. But you can actually turn Notepad into an IDE for the Jack language. So that's what I started with. Nand2Tetris provides you a file that's called a, I believe, like .lang file or a lang.xml file. And you just open up your directory for Notepad, you apply this file, and now your Notepad should be able to read Jack syntax. So this is very helpful to kind of compare two separate files, and it'll make sense a little bit why we want to be able to compare two files. So the next step, after you have the Jack syntax in place, you open up the sample file that they have given to you, which is called square or square dance. It's going to be a set of 3 .jack files, all of which need to work cohesively to basically make a square move around on the screen based on your arrow keys. Now, if I open here and we open up my app, which is where I saved all of these files, and we flip this to show every file, we see that we have a couple of things. All of these things are going to be used. First off, let's highlight main.jack, square.jack, and squaregame.jack. These are the 3 files used to run the square game. Main.jack just has all of the classes in it. Square.jack is playing the game with no boundaries, and squaregame.jack is just applying rule sets to the game and additional information that's not just a blank slate. Then we have the compiler, which took me a bit of research to understand, but all you have to do is highlight all of the things that you want to compile with the compiler. There's no interface for the compiler. So you have to just have to highlight all of the options you want, copy them and paste them into the compiler. It will read anything that it can that's a .jack, and it will compile it into a virtual machine file, which you see underneath of all of the Jack files. We have a virtual machine file. This file can be read by any language and any emulator. Lastly, we have operating system files. These files are just basically core components to the Jack language. We need to have those in place to read them, sort of like .math, if you think about it. It's like an import. So we can cancel out of this, because what we need to do is open up every single file at the same time. And how we do that is by opening the entire folder. So if we don't load a single file, if we say just VM files and directories, let's load everything that's in my app. We're going to be loading the operating system directory and the 3 VM files. So let's do that now. Yes, go ahead. And here we see the entire code written out here. I took a little bit to sort of compare and contrast. I can only show you this window right now because I have to record just based on Windows. But I took a little bit to compare and contrast how the programs looked. Basically what the compiler did is it cut out anything that wasn't Jack, so like comments, if you had like additional information, it cut all those out and just kept the programming from the .jack. So basically converted it into a default program. So now that we have all of them opened, we can run this program and see how it operates. Normally you would see this kind of pushing and popping calling using all of the keywords and commands that we have written out. But I have this set to no animation because it takes like 8 or 9 minutes to just cycle through everything. So we're just going to run the program, and it runs right away. And we can see that we have a window that shows exactly what key. So right now I'm pressing M, and it shows exactly what key we're pressing, right? So if we press right, the cube goes right. If we press left, the cube goes left, down, and up. And so this is showing that the game is operating. The point of this assignment was not to make the game yourself, but more so understand how the compiler worked and how it can be applied to .jack files, turning .jack files into virtual machine files. That's all for Project 9. We'll get to project 10 shortly.